All right, we are back with another episode of 90s Noise. I'm April, born 1991.
And I'm Ashley, born 1988. So we just want to thank everyone for listening to our episode. And we want to remind everyone that we do have a Patreon account that you can find a link to either in our show notes for each episode, or you can find the link to it on our Instagram, which is 90s Noise. And we have a great deal for $3 a month. You have access to all of our videos of all of our episodes, all of the exclusive interviews that we do with all of our guests. You also will have access to a couple of fun bonus episodes each month, either related to a past episode or just something random that we decided to do. So we would love it if you would go on and support us and check that out. Also remember to follow us on Instagram, and of course leave us a review wherever you listen to your podcast, whatever platform that is. Leave us a review. We would love to hear from you. We really do appreciate all of your support, and we will definitely shout out any reviews that we get.
Don't be afraid. Send us some messages on Instagram. We love talking to people and hearing feedback. And yeah, we would love to hear from you.
Halloween. Girl, you got someone behind you. Watch out.
Ah! Okay, so Halloween episode still.
Welcome to Halloween.
Halloween. And we are doing a kind of a this or that this round. Two separate movie franchises that shit like this. They are still going to this day. That's what's crazy. We have Halloween, which first came out with we watched. Did you watch all of them, or did you just watch the 90s ones?
That one was chaotic.
That's for sure.
There was a lot. There were way too many. And no, I did not watch the first 5, I think. The like the 70s, 80s ones. No, okay. Did not get to those. I had a hard enough time with some of the other ones that, yeah.
So, okay, so let's start with, we're talking Halloween and Scream today. So let's start with Halloween. That was a chore.
Halloween. Yeah. That was a mega chore. And it's not like we put this pressure on that we had to watch them anyways. It was kind of just like a watch what you want or don't. But I'm gonna be honest, I've never watched Halloween before. Like, Halloween is
really
it's not the slasher type of horror movie that I ever watched.
I did not know that.
No.
Okay, so I did not know that. I've watched, so I'd seen the first one, the original, years ago, probably when I first was going through doing like a horror, I'm old enough to watch without getting in trouble type of deal. And because obviously like they're not appropriate for like young kids when they came out and everything. But it's actually interesting. I was watching, because kind of going off of this, but there's also a series, I think on Netflix or Hulu, called, it's called The Movies That Made Us. And there was an episode regarding Halloween. What I did not know is they originally had released it to a single theater to see how it was going to do. And that theater was Kansas City.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. I've seen the first, I had seen H2O, and then I had seen the most recent ones that like just came out in the last few years. Now, there's a lot to unpack with Halloween.
Yeah, I feel like it's a very almost messy movie franchise. Like
It really is.
I I just felt because, you know, I'm very curious on a lot of the backstories of like, because one, I had no idea what it was really about. So I'm gonna tell you how we ended up watching them over here because that kind of probably not the best way to watch it through as all.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we watched um I think the 2018 version, the 2018 one, which
Hmm. Okay.
Halloween, I think it's just called. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what the name of that one was. I think we
Just,
started with
I
that
think it's
one.
just
Oh,
Halloween.
wait. Yeah. Yeah. And then we watched Halloween Kills and then Halloween Ends. So, like, basically the
Mhm.
last through of the series, we watched those. And we're
Yeah.
like, because we were just going to watch one when we originally kind of were talking about doing this. And we're like, okay. But then we're like, oh, okay, we kind of need to see what else is going to happen with the storyline. Like it got us really intrigued with it. We're like, well, let's
Yeah.
keep going. So we ended up watching those three, and then I'm like, well, fuck it, let's just kind of watch some random ones from earlier on, and we watched H2O. And then I was telling you, like, okay, so you watch H2O, you kind of have to watch Resurrection because it just gets wonky there. It got so wonky. You're like so confused as to the storylines of knowing where it ended to what the hell is happening there with Josh Hartnett and her son that never gets mentioned like again. Like that whole storyline just gets erased into the whole universe of Halloween. And then when you go into Resurrection, you're like, wait, so what the hell is going on?
So, okay, yeah.
Mind you, it's not called H2O though, I don't think. I think really called because it's
yeah,
not water. I
it's
always thought it was like H2O,
well,
like
it's
water,
like
but it's H20.
it's H20, but it's, I've always called it H2O
Okay, good. I
because
wasn't sure if that's what the people of
um
Halloween lovers called it, but
I will probably get ripped for that one, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's that's just how
it
how you
looks.
read it.
Yeah.
Um, because there's like no spacing or anything. A little bit of a backstory. She had another child
And she had
before.
3 kids.
Yeah, she had three, and it's they try to make it canon, but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like I said, I had only watched the first one. I don't think I'd ever seen the second one.
Okay.
I might have, just because it is a continuation. That's what they were doing was, but that wasn't ever intended. That was not John Carpenter's intention. His intention was to do Halloween movies based off of different lore, and each Halloween movie be different,
Oh.
which is where Halloween 3 Season of the Witch comes into play.
Yeah, I had read the plot on that one and I was like, this is
I watched
what's
part of
going
it and
on.
I'm
Did
like,
you?
I stopped. I'm like, okay, this isn't what I had in mind. And then I was reading about it, and that's when I read that he didn't even want to do Halloween 2 the way it was done.
Oh
But
wow.
the fan base was, and the studio or whoever was so
Hmm.
demanding
Right.
that they wanted Mike to bring back Michael Myers. And he didn't want to, and they kind of twisted his arm. And then when they did Season of the Witch, it was people, it was a big flop.
Well, yeah, I believe that though. Just the storyline, it just
It
sounded lame.
was so like,
I mean, and
yeah.
that's the problem with franchises. I mean, you can have an amazing first one, and the second one could be, okay, but then if you keep going and going and going, there's bound to be duds, and I mean that's just going to happen. You're never going to please anyone or everyone when you keep doing that to a series. But I will say that, unfortunately, I haven't seen like the first couple original ones to kind of compare it to, but coming from like the middle version, the middle movies of the 90s into the last three that I watched, I do feel like it ends very well. Like I do feel like the quality of it and the integrity of Halloween like carries through to the end to where it's actually really good and enjoyable.
Hmm.
Did you get that same feeling?
For me, I had some trouble just with the non-continuity of it,
Right.
and that sometimes makes it hard for me to. I have to go in and watch each one as just a completely separate movie,
Hmm.
not thinking about it being a franchise, because I think actually the Halloween 20, whatever it's called, was probably the first one I actually did see. And then I'd gone back to
Oh, really?
um because now that I'm thinking about it, it's like I th- I was it was one of those that was on during the middle of the day or something. I think I was homesick and I'm like, "Ooh, I'm going to watch this. It's a Halloween, the one of the Halloweens." And then I'd gone back to I'd snuck watching the first one, but I do have trouble with the fact that there's Jamie, then there's
Hmm.
John, and then there's I don't remember the daughter's name in the last three, but I think it's like Karen or something. It's,
Maybe.
uh, but I have trouble with the fact that they're not there's there's no reference. I mean, Jamie Jamie's character, Lori, is killed like three times.
What?
She, so she's killed in at the beginning of Resurrection. Her It's referenced that her character is killed in a car
Oh,
crash
okay. That's
in
why they opening scene and then you never see her again, and you're kind of like, well,
yeah,
what? She didn't. Why did she had no part? Oh, okay. I didn't know if they made that as implying that she was
yeah,
dead, or if it's just as like,
yeah, no,
hmm.
that's why
Oh,
they killed her off when it comes back. So there's Halloween 2, Season of the Witch, which again we that's not to be discussed. And then there's I think it's The Return of Mike Myers is the fourth one or something. But that one has
yeah.
Danielle Harris in it
Hmm.
as Jamie, who is Lori's daughter, and she's with a step family or something, because her parents died in a car crash. So there's death number one that's insinuated. Then death number two, you see it at the beginning of Resurrection. And then I think, what was it? One of the newer ones, I think it was initially implied, like, seemed like she was killed. I can't remember. There's like one more like death from her.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I think what was the most shocking for me is, like I said, going from the last three movies and then transitioning into the middle and realizing that Lori was Michael's sister.
Sister.
I was
Mm-hmm.
like, what the fuck? Because it's never mentioned in the last three movies, like at all. And
Well, you
so
kind of have to wonder though, why is he? I mean, even if you
it
do
makes way
just
it
start
makes
out.
way more sense. Like, I don't know why they
Mhm.
didn't continue with that, because that story makes sense
Yeah.
to like why he is so infatuated with following through with her or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing is that she originally doesn't even know that, because she was adopted as a baby.
Mm.
So that's part of, like, the first movie, you don't really, I don't, if I remember correctly, you don't really get that aspect. And then in the second movie, it's more comes to light
Hmm.
that the reason he's still going after her, not like going after somebody else, is
Right.
because of her being his baby sister. And then, yeah, in Halloween 20, it's mentioned about him being her brother. But I did read that there had been a scene that they cut out in Halloween 20 where Jodie's character actually like said was talking about about Haddonfield and Laurie Strode, and that she had died or something. And it was she had died, her daughter had been killed or whatever, because in the one before Halloween 20, the character of Jamie is killed. And
The Curse of Michael Myers, that one?
Mm-hmm. The one with Paul Rudd.
Okay. I tried to watch that one. There was something off with Paul in that movie. I couldn't.
That was his first movie. That was one of his first movies. It was introducing Paul Rudd.
Okay.
Like, that was one of his first movies.
I'll give him that, but like I don't know how he could go from that to
Clueless.
Well, yeah. Like that's what I kept thinking. I'm like, but this is around the same time as Clueless. How can he go from this charismatic, how could he go from this robotic person to this charismatic character? Like,
yeah.
It was, I don't know. I tried, but that whole storyline was weird. I really couldn't follow that.
That one was very weird. Very, very weird.
It was like a whole cult thing. And I'm like, here we go again with the cult.
At that point, I'm like, oh my gosh. Because I had never seen that one either myself. And so I do like how the newer three are pretty much a immediate series. Like, there's no time between, with the exception of the first two, which is a continuation. The second one is a continuation that's that same night into the morning. The rest of them are years apart, and so it's one of those things where you just, I don't know, the how they did the last three I did like, but it's also, why didn't they think about doing what they did at the very end to get rid of them before?
I mean, I say that in every movie. I mean, when they always, well, that's what frustrated me, because they're like, oh, we've got this whole underground thing and we're just going to lock them in, then we're going to burn it and whatever. But she forgot that she had that whole gun case thing that the door opens and you can go inside, and like, why would you have a trap where all your guns are? Like, that just stupid, for one. And then two, she'd already had supposedly set him on fire in the past, and it didn't go well. And so now she's doing it again, thinking, and just walking away before he physically is gone. And she wonders why he keeps coming back.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
That's horror movies, though, for you. They love to do that. I mean, otherwise, if he would have died in the first one, where would it have gone? Like, they love to do that.
Like I said, John Carpenter had intended originally, and so since they brought him back for the second one, I think that's where he realized they opened a can.
That is wild to think that was the plan all along, is one movie, one and done. Like, there would be no franchise like this. Like,
no franchise based solely on Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Because he was wanting to do, like, witches.
Wasn't it one of the earlier, like, slasher type?
I mean, 1978.
That was before like Nightmare and Friday the 13th and stuff, right? So he kind of was the lead.
It paved the way for those, because it wasn't common to have that.
Now, what is your take on horror movies when you go into them? I'm very curious. Like, do you get scared? Like, are you a paranoid person? Like, I'm being honest. Like, do you get that? Are you that kind of person? Because I sure as fuck am. And so anytime I watched a Michael movie, I kid you not, girl, I'm checking all the rooms, I'm checking all the closets, I'm checking under the bed. I don't know why, but it's a paranoia that I've had since I was young. Anytime I watched, and it's probably because of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Those are like the first two horror movies I've ever watched, and that's probably why. But
so I'm one of those people that watch true crime, and my I'm that meme where it's the girl who relaxes to true crime and everything. Literally, that's usually our wind down, whether it's uh forensic files, cold case
Mm,
files, criminal minds, any of those. I don't know. I guess I always have had a fascination with that.
mm,
I don't mind these types of horror movies. I usually am always just a cautious person with checking things, like checking
mm.
doors are locked, checking behind curtains,
Right.
behind doors. That's just how I've always been. Also, growing up with two brothers who
True.
loved to do that, to pull that shit. I, it's interesting. Like I'm good with watching like movies and shows, even when I know it's based on reality or actually showing
Mm, mm-hmm.
true footage. But I sometimes my anxiety gets me when it comes to haunted houses,
Mm.
because
Ooh.
there's one damn movie, and I don't even remember the stupid name of it, where it's a horror movie, haunted house, and person's actually murdering people, but everybody thinks it's part of the act.
Sounds kind of
It's
familiar.
it was it didn't get a lot of attention. I'll send you the name of it after we're done, once I figure it out. But that's that I've and even before that movie came out, because that wasn't it was maybe 6 or 7 years ago when that came
Okay.
out. Even before that, my brain was always just, what if somebody's
Right.
actually in here like a psychopath and using this? And so that's where my brain goes to in that type of
Mm-hmm.
situation. But watching the movies, I'm one of those where I'm like, all right, what are they coming from the left? Are they going to be in the right? Where are they where the camera angle is trying to show you something. Where's it coming from? Um it actually it has taken a decent amount to give me like jump scares anymore with watching horror movies, because
Yeah,
I'm just like
yeah.
so like zoned in. I'm like, okay. So,
Yeah, I don't feel like these slasher movies have any type of jump scare aspects to them, especially once you've seen one or two of them. Like
mhm,
those don't bother me. Well, I mean, the horror part it bothers me, but the more so like the supernatural, the sometimes the things you can't see, the those types that really can give you more of a jump scare,
mhm,
like unexpected. Those ones I feel
yeah.
like I would react to.
So I do have one bone. Well, there's a lot of bones to pick with this franchise, but one of my biggest issues with this franchise is, and I think this is also probably one of the reasons why it was so crazy, like big too, is the slow walk coming towards you.
I mean, I kind of liked that aspect of it
It,
because
it it's
it's
what
hilarious because they have
they have
plenty of time to
time.
get away. Like they could be across the
They
town by the
have
time he gets to
time.
them, but
And
somehow they still
that
don't.
is that is where I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You have time. You have time to make a freaking sandwich. You have time to get something to defend yourself for 2 minutes to knock him on his ass. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yes, he's a big guy, but
Right.
I guess that's also part of like the whole horror aspect of it too, is no matter what you do, he's still coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
And
always lurking in the shadows at the
mhm,
corners of places, and he's always there. He's like you.
yeah,
He gives you plenty of time to know that there's something
yeah.
not like in its place, but people still like I would never walk into my house if the door's open
No,
or something looks off, but then they're
that
just like well,
that
I
was
guess so.
that was legitimately elementary school. You were
Right.
drilled into you. If you ever go home and your door is open, you go to your next door neighbor's house. You hightail your ass out of there. You do not go in. And even with watching some of these true crimes and everything, it's the same thing. Oh, the door was ajar, so I walked in and there's it was a massacre or something. It's like, you're number one, you're
You wonder why
destroying
you're dead.
you wonder why you're dead, but you're also contaminating evidence. So I'm just, oh my gosh, don't go in. But I'm also one of those people where it's like, all right, what's lurking behind door number one?
Well, did you watch the Rob Zombie versions?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. So I had started the first one when it had come out. 16, I think, at the time. So I was old enough at that time. We had rented it, and I just didn't like the gore and nudity in it. I thought it was originally, I thought it was way like overdone. Like, didn't need to, like, really? That's no. So I had only made it to, I think, literally the girls walking down the street the day before Halloween or something. I hadn't gotten very far in that route. But recently, because of the fact that I've caught up with following Scout and Danielle, I'm like, I want to go ahead and watch this. This is kind of where their friendship had started, and just see the differences in from the original to his
because it's just based his version of the original, right? Like, it's just his reimagination of it or something.
First one is very, very similar to the original.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It follows the same line. There's obviously a few things that are different, but it's very close to it. The second one is a completely different than the second Halloween, than John Carpenter's second Halloween, which I actually just finished the second one today. I applaud Scout for her acting with Laurie and taking that character, making it her own. It was an interesting take on how they did that.
Yeah, I only got like partway through the first one, and then it was like, no, we couldn't do it anymore. It just wasn't the movie we were wanting it to be.
It was. I was reading about it, and he was kind of the same way. He didn't want to do a second one, really. Rob Zombie.
Oh.
And the studio kind of pushed for it. And then there was a lot of behind the scenes drama with the second one.
Ooh.
Obviously, you take everything with a grain of salt when you read it online. But from everything I saw online, there's a lot of drama, and like it was originally supposed to be released on Halloween, and then it got pushed up to August, and so they ended up losing pretty much weeks, almost like a month of editing time. Different scenes had to be cut. Like, I guess at one point they cut his schedule down for something, and he literally just like had to rip out pages of the script because there was no way he was going to be able to do those. So, like I said, the story was interesting.
It definitely. I think just from the little bit of reading that I did, it seems like the Rob Zombie ones are kind of that stepchild you don't talk about, or whatever they call those It's just kind
the
of like,
redheaded stepchild.
yeah, there you go. It was just like, yeah, they were a part of it, but not really.
Yeah, it was interesting. I did like, because in the second one, again, she doesn't know that she is his little sister. And in the second one, it is they had Loomis's character be more of a asshole psychiatrist who takes the story and makes a book out of it and puts all of that information in the book. And she goes and sees it and reads it and finds out that her best friend's dad, who took her in after her parents were, because I think they were killed in the first one, her step parent, her foster parents, adopted parents, he knew that she was Michael's little sister, but never had told her. And so she just blows up with that, which, I mean, yeah. I don't blame her on that. So I did like having that it showed that, because it
Right.
didn't, there wasn't, it was just, oh, that's her, that she's his sister in the originals, and really there wasn't much of a reaction. Because I mean, if you find out that you have a older brother who murdered half your family and is now after you, you're gonna have a fucking reaction.
Yeah, that's to
If
be
you don't,
expected.
then you need
They
checked
need
out.
help. Yeah, exactly.
All right. I think I can tell you're good on the Halloween side.
I pat
It was
myself on the back for finally watching some though, because I've always thought
I didn't
about it, just
I
never.
didn't know you had never seen them.
I thought I had watched parts of one of them, but I don't think I ever did. I must have
Yeah.
probably just talked myself out of it at some point, be like, I want to watch that because Ryan Merriman is in the one. And I'm like,
Well,
oh
which I didn't realize that one.
yeah, I remember once internet came about and you could figure out what some of your favorite actors were in, and I figured, I'm like, oh, I think I had the idea, like, oh, I've got to watch that because he's in it, and then I must just never did, because
Yeah.
horror movies are always
Well,
so hard for me to
yeah.
watch.
Well, so real quick, the speaking of that one real quickly, not the girl that he's helping, but the best friend, the blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Did you recognize her? She is blown up recently.
Who is it?
That is, did you watch Mandalorian?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she is you watched the more recent seasons, like the last
Yeah,
season?
we're all caught up.
So she is the princess Mandalorian or whatever. The one who the short hair, because she was also in Longmire.
Katie.
Yeah.
Oh, now that I see her, like a present day picture, that she does look familiar.
Yeah.
Huh, that's hilarious.
That I didn't realize that, and I was watching it and I just kind of, I was like half watching it because I was doing something else, and I glanced, I'm like, holy, hey, I know who that is. She's in Longmire,
Yeah.
she's in Mandalorian, she's
Huh.
blowing up
Yeah.
with that. I think because she's gonna be in, like, I think Jacksonville next year at one of the early conventions.
Okay.
I'd be going and seeing her for Longmire. She's done a lot of different things, but I didn't even know about. I didn't even realize she was in Resurrection.
No, and she looks. I'd have to see her again in that, but just didn't click.
All right, so I take it that you prefer Scream over Halloween.
Just a tad bit, just a wee
Just a
little
tad bit.
bit.
So have you seen all the Screams?
I have. I've seen all the Screams. I've seen the TV show. I don't think there's anything else, but I could have kept going if there was. But yes, because there are, okay. So there's 6 movies.
There's 6 or is there 7?
It says there's currently on 6.
Okay, I think they're supposedly working on a 7th, and
Wouldn't surprise me.
they're supposedly bringing. It's supposed to bring. There's talk that Nev's going to be coming back for that one, but
yeah, I see
I
on
don't.
the wiki page that it's to be announced, but
Yeah,
it's a possibility. Ooh.
so this one, the first one's interesting on this
Why
because
do you say so?
why do I say so? Because of the fact that it doesn't necessarily go by the same format that most of them do. I mean, you got, I don't know, I guess in a
The
sense, I
format of
feel,
what? The
well,
rest of the movie series or other horror
no,
movies?
like the other slasher movies, even. It's
I mean,
almost kind of not necessarily a fourth wall break, but the fact that you've got them more aware of horror movies and what happens in horror movies and like they talk about it.
I think that was a big 90s thing because I Know What You Did Last Summer did the same thing. Like I feel like that's something new that they were trying to bring to these horror movies because we all knew about Halloween and Friday the 13th, all these other ones were really becoming popular. And I think with Scream and the other ones after coming out in the mid 90s, I feel like they were trying a different approach to the horror movies. Like this one being someone in the friend group. I mean, it's someone that is doing it. Like you're hanging out with them every day, that type of thing. So it's very different than just someone walking around slowly on the street, just kind of happening upon people that
chase you, like actually runs after you.
It's a complete opposite.
It is a complete opposite, which I mean that's more real, so much more realistic.
That's what I associate with horror movies. Is someone like full force, like they're coming after you. There's no stopping that. Those are the memes and stuff you see of you're gonna be running and you're gonna fall and you're gonna be that person that gets killed first because you can't get away fast enough. Yeah. Whereas with Michael Myers, you have plenty of time to get away.
Well, yeah. I mean, my and when you think about it, the rest of the slashers, most of them are more of there is that kind of a supernatural aspect. And like Mike Myers doesn't ever die. I mean, you put 17 bullets in him and he still gets up. Freddy kills you in your dreams. Jason is very similar to Michael and that he doesn't die. But then you come to Ghostface, who is, like you said, an actual person,
human. Yeah,
there is no supernatural aspect. You think there is because of the mask and it continuing with the same mask and throughout the entire time. I like the first movie.
Okay, so do you remember the first time you saw the first one, or do you know kind of about what age you were or anything like that, being that this one actually came out in the 90s?
I probably watched this one I watched a handful of movies on our staircase. My brothers would be watching it downstairs and I'd be sitting on the staircase looking at it through, there's like little pegs and everything, be watching it that way, and they'd look back and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, don't tell Mom. But this one, honestly, I don't recall the first time I saw it. I do think it was probably at least when it came into VHS or something. I obviously didn't go to the theaters to see it. I think I probably did see it VHS wise. My brothers probably rented it or something. Or it might have even been one where it came on TV. Right. And I was just scrolling through. Yeah. Trying to see how much of it I could watch before my mom told me to change the channel. That happened a lot. And half the time it would be my brothers ratting me out. You're too young to be watching that. I didn't get to watch that stuff like that until I was whatever age. Well, sucks to be you. Yeah, I don't know when the first time I would seen this. What about you?
You know my brain. I don't know the first time, but I do remember we definitely didn't go to the movie theater to see it. It would have been at home. I feel like I remember more so the second movie as like as a family kind of watching it in our living room. We obviously rented it. So I don't know if for sure I saw the first one first, but the second one is one that kind of has always spoken to me more with the whole movie theater scene and all of that. For some reason, that one just has always been in my eyes. I know it's not the first one, but kind of that first one. And
Yeah.
I just remember that we watched it. So it definitely would have been late 90s that I was watching it. So, like 11, I was probably around that age.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I was scared watching it or kind of, I'm sure with being with my parents, I would have kind of had that reassurance that it was okay, but it was just, I don't know how I got through it.
I This one honestly probably scares me a little bit more than the Michael Myers because it
Oh
is a
yeah.
little more
Mm-hmm.
of a realistic
It's more of
type
like
of
my
thing.
childhood movie too. So I don't know, there's just something about when you grow up on these movies more so than something else, that horror always sticks with you more. So even though like now as an adult, I don't really find the Scream ones to be as scary. But I think it's just because I watched them so many times versus the Michael Myers that I haven't ever seen them. And so
Yeah.
that whole world is new to me. And this guy in his mask is just like lurking in whatever corner and wherever. But Ghostface, it's like, okay, there's been so many different ones, like there's so many different people in the costume and so
Yeah.
many different like variations to the story with it. And then with the TV show, like so it just doesn't feel as real as what Michael Myers is. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. And I I don't know, for me, this one, I just can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's because to be honest with you, it might not have been until after She's All That came out that
Mm,
that I
okay.
saw Scream,
Mm-hmm.
because I think my thought process was, oh, in regards to Matthew Lillard, that's the guy from She's All That. So I don't, like I said, I'm thinking it was probably late 90s
Mm-hmm.
before I even saw any of them. But it's one that I enjoy rewatching.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy rewatching it for sure. Now, I enjoy rewatching the first one.
Really? That's
The
it?
others, the others, I just because well, when they had announced the cast members of Scream being at MegaCon, I was like, oh, I'm gonna rewatch the
All of
Screams
them.
because
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
had been a while.
Yeah.
And I think, what was it? The sixth one was just about to come out
Yeah.
or
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yeah.
The timing for it was just super weird. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why release it mid years whenever they did? But I uh I was catching up, and I had watched the Scream show, TV
Mm-hmm.
show. And yeah.
Yeah.
But I was rewatching the Screams, and I like the first one. The rest of them I just didn't necessarily care for, except it's weird, except the one where it then goes it gives that first new generation with, was it Emma Roberts and Hayden?
Mm-hmm.
That one I don't mind.
I
But
have to rewatch that one. I feel like I only saw that one once. I mean, I feel like I've only seen the last three once each. But
mhm,
yeah, for me, like the newer ones are a little bit tougher to get behind. But
mhm.
I love the first two. Like I already said, I love the second one the most. And then obviously the original I don't really remember the third one, what that one's about.
Okay, so help me out because
Scream 3.
the third one was when they were actually filming. When it was the movie. It was the movie
Oh, on
set.
the movie set. Okay. Yeah, that one's just I don't know. There's a lot
That
of
okay.
shit with that one. A lot of stuff going on. That one is
So
yeah.
with that one also, it has one of the the chicks, women, whatever you want to use, like girls. I don't know what we're supposed to call ourselves anymore,
Persons.
but persons from Josie and the Pussycats. She's the one that plays Gail. The actress that plays Gail Weathers
Mm.
was in Josie and the Pussycats.
Hmm.
She was one of the
I don't know who that is.
she was one of the record label people.
I'll be honest. I don't think I only saw that movie once. If
Oh my
I.
gosh, you're killing me, girl.
Oh,
But I'd forgotten about that one until I had rewatched it. But for me,
yeah, that one was like they were really pulling with
mhm,
that one. And then I feel like with 4, like you were talking about, they're kind of bringing that new generation, so they kind of were able to redevelop it, and it
yeah.
worked a bit better. And then it just kind of was like meh from there. But
Yeah, I had a lot of issues with
the last one, the
mm,
most recent
the
one,
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The biggest issue, besides the fact that they didn't have Nev in it,
yeah, that was the biggest downfall.
I hated how, and kills me to say this because I obviously love his acting. I waited 2.5, 3 hours in line to meet him, and he's a super nice guy. But how they did like the her seeing Skeet and everything, the edit that they did for him was horrendous.
Yeah.
I hate saying this, but I that made it unenjoyable for me,
Hmm.
honestly.
Yeah,
Because I was like,
understandable.
first off, that doesn't even look like how he looked in the original movie.
Yeah.
And so I just hated how they were trying to like de-age him so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more they could have done to like fix that. I mean, hell, I was rewatching the original last week. I mean, I truly enjoyed that one.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's just a classic. I don't know. There's just something about it that it just it's so good.
Yeah. I truly enjoyed that one. I hate the cover though, because again, like they did Ski with like a little like mustache and everything that he doesn't even have in the movie. Like
Yeah, that's weird.
it almost like they had shot the cover before they started filming,
I think they do
and
that sometimes.
he had the mustache and everything, and then when they went to start filming he had
Right.
shaved it everything. So
Yeah.
I
I didn't think about that continuity, but
mm, yeah. So who was your favorite Ghostface?
girl, she thinks I have a good memory.
Okay, so was probably your favorite of the screams? Was it the second one? Because
It
that
was
was your
yeah, it was the second one, which who was the ghost face in that one, so I can remember if that's the one I liked.
I think that was a was because that's not the one where it ended up being the brother, whatever, the half brother. That was number 3, wasn't it?
I don't know, they don't even tell you in the fucking plot. That's so annoying.
Of course, they're not going to tell you in the plot because most people read the plot before they watch a movie.
Oh.
They're not going to give it away.
I don't know. For some reason I thought they would have said who.
Here, just who's Ghostface in Scream 2? It's an easy. Oh, it's 2 of them. It's Nancy Loomis,
Who the fuck is
and
Nancy?
then it's Billy's mom because she wants to get back at Nev because of her killing her son. Skeet's character.
Oh yeah, I see the plot. It says Sydney shoots Nancy in the head.
And then Mickey, who was played by Timothy Oliphant.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was the second one. That's what I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. And then in the third is the one where it's like ends up being Sydney's half brother or something.
Yeah.
Because he's a producer or whatever of the movie. Director. I can't remember what role he was in the movie. Sorry for spoilers. We'll have to add a little thing at the beginning. Spoilers. If you've not seen these movies, don't listen.
Right, yeah. Abby. I mean, I know who your favorite is, but
well, you gotta go with the originals. I mean,
yeah, you kind of do. I mean, you really do. Like I said, I love the second one, but I do feel like you have to go with the originals because they're the ones that started this whole thing of now catapulting like all these other, wannabe ghost faces.
I do have to say, one of my biggest issues with the first one, and I'd forgotten about it until I was rewatching it last week, but I hate Rose's death in it. Like her character is like she's one that just like she is herself. She's a no fucks given, and actually is one of the first people that truly fights back. And I don't know about you, if you guys ever had a garage when you were growing up, but
yeah,
it would always be it was always a thing with us kids growing up. We would be the ones to have to go hit the garage door to close because our clicker didn't work half the time, and we would run to get under the garage door before it closed. You're able to do that. That's the part where I wish. I mean, I know that they had to do it for the sake of the movie, but I wish she would have had a better time.
Yeah, you're right. That was kind of like a weak way for her to go. Like, really? Yeah. The garage door of all things.
And trying to squeeze out the doggy door.
Who does that?
And you go arms first. You don't go head, arm, then try to get your other arm. You go arms first.
Someone didn't teach her.
No. So that's where I when I was rewatching, I'm like, damn it. That is just I don't agree with that one. And I honestly don't even really call that necessarily a Ghostface kill.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. I don't call that a Ghostface kill because
he didn't stab her.
So
technically
he didn't truly be the one to kill her. So I don't call that a Ghostface kill. I don't.
What else he got for these Halloween movies, or these slasher?
Okay. I got a question for you. Any of the deaths that we saw in Halloween or Scream, which do you think would have been like the one that you would have hated to have gone that way yourself?
All of them. I don't want to go any of those ways.
Okay, girl. If you had to choose. I mean, because we've got...
You have to give me some examples because I have no clue how anyone died.
Okay, well, I mean, for Halloween, we've got I'm thinking of, because I've got to remember what
I feel like Halloween had worse deaths than Scream, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I'm trying to think like gore wise, did one show it more than the other?
Yeah, did one that you watched just go, oh my gosh, no?
Actually, like the most, because it's the most recent one in my memory, the one that I halfway got through Halloween 6, the cult one where she's in the barn and he like backs her up into the forks type thing that just
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to explain it. I honestly, I closed my eyes. I don't know how it ended because I just ill. I don't want to imagine that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that just sounds fucking awful.
Yeah. Yeah. That one I didn't like. I probably because I mean both of them really their main choice was knives.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have to say there's one, which one was it? There's a few times, I think it was in the Halloweens where he would use his hands and crush the skull.
The fuck?
And then would like tie them up to where they're just hanging there, usually arms sprawled and everything. That probably would be one that I'm like, no, no.
Yeah.
I do have to say, I forgot about this when we were talking earlier about Halloween 20. The scene with the garbage disposal.
Yeah, that one was a whole setup. You knew that was coming, but any type of horror, any of the horror movies that always introduce that aspect to it, and like, don't you go near it. Don't you?
No. Or that same scene time, the freaking dumbbell waiter.
Yeah, we knew that was getting used too. Like they set that one up.
No, I can't. I can't with that.
Yeah,
Those
I'd rather
tight
just
spaces.
go with a
Just get it over with.
Just give me a knife and
just get it over with.
don't crush something. Don't like. I don't want any of that.
No. I yeah, no. So I think we've wrapped up kind of these Halloween Scream this
Halloween versus Scream.
Yeah. So what's our new segment called?
Our new segment called?
Yeah. Remember, we're starting a new segment at the end.
Oh, that reminds me. We have a new review that we needed to shout out.
Yeah, which gave us this idea.
Yeah, thank you so much for this new idea. We're gonna maybe end the show on. Just give the episodes a little more flair, a little more something.
So what, you got reviews when you get a 3-star review.
You made it when you get the negative review.
Which
I was just waiting for that though. I mean, like, no one is going to ever get all 5-star perfect reviews. There's always going to be someone out there that has something to say.
Well, here's my next thing is if you see something that has 100% 5-star reviews, you gotta wonder. You wonder. I
don't paying for those.
Exactly. We don't, and we don't. No, we don't do that. So we're doing this new thing called vocal fry.
Vocal fry. Ooh, I love me some vocal fry.
Yeah. I have no idea what it's meaning, but
did not know what it meant until I looked it up and discovered this whole world of vocal fry. Vocal fry.
Which is give me deets on that.
Oh God, now I'm on the spot. I'm not gonna be able to give you anything.
Of course you're on the spot.
I found it funny though, because where it seems to be most like the established part of where vocal fry would come from is the West Coast, but I'm being from the East Coast, you being from Midwest. I'm like, I don't know who it is, if it's both, what they're talking about.
What is vocal fry?
You don't know what vocal fry is?
No, I don't.
You never looked it up?
No, I didn't look it up.
Oh, okay. I thought you were pulling my leg.
No, I wasn't.
I thought you were pulling my fucking leg. No. It's like from what the little gist that I got from it, it's like a girl. You just gotta watch the video.
Oh God, there's a video.
This girl can do a great impression of it, more so than I can, because I mean, I could
All
do
right.
it. I obviously have done it, but
What was it on YouTube or something?
this one, wait,
All
hold
right.
on.
America's young women are running out of oxygen. What else could explain why so many of them sound like this? So cute, so cute.
I'm just now,
My, motto.
Kim and Chloe just don't get it.
Believe it or not,
Okay.
So
That is
that is
funny because this is how I've sounded pretty much my entire life.
that's the thing. Like
And
whatever
I'm from
this
Kansas.
person is grasping from, it's not from either of us putting or trying to fry our
No.
voice. That's just how we talk. Like I
No. So I have to truly think about it to not sound like that. And I don't know if maybe it's from having watched so much stuff growing up that
Right.
had that, and I want
Yeah.
to imitate. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Exactly. That is kind of how we pull sometimes different nuances with our accents and different
Yeah,
vocabulary and stuff, is things we watch. I mean, that's just part of it.
but for me, it's actually funny because I think part of what's screwed up my voice and made it to where I sound like that all the time. I mean, you talk to me at my job if I'm doing my day job, I sound like that. And it's not something, but I think part for me, it's a mixture of the concerts and the screaming and I just overdid it.
That's
I
true.
probably screwed up my vocal cords doing that shit.
That's true. Didn't think about that aspect of it.
Because I did from 1999 until honestly the last 6 years, I'd be at concerts weekly almost.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I mean, heck, I'm missing one right now. It is what it is on that one because
Who?
that one, Jonas, they're in Tampa
Oh,
tonight.
yeah.
And their ticket prices finally went down to reasonable today. I'm
Oh.
like, no, I'm not. No, I'm in too much pain to deal with that because that still would be a freaking, that'd be where we were, because it's where we the Lightning play, and it would probably
Oh.
be the seats that we had.
Mm.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But so for me, it's, I think, a mixture of concerts as growing up, destroying my voice from that, I'm sure. Because I'm not a smoker.
Ugh, no.
I can't with my asthma. And then also probably the when I got my tonsils out, I think made it
Oh.
even more.
Yeah, I've never had mine out.
Yeah, I think it made it even more, which is funny. You would think it would be the opposite.
Yeah.
And I'll just say it here. I've been talking like this since before Kardashians.
I love it.
Yeah, no, I always hated it though, because I've always had a deeper voice. And
Well, same. Yeah, me too. I don't
growing
try
up,
to.
everybody, like all of the other girls in my class were always high voices
Hey,
and
girl.
hey, like, oh my gosh, type,
Just
the
that
valley
constant,
talk.
yeah, you're just always like exclaiming at the end of each segment, oh my God, like, oh wow, like I just don't talk like that. Like, girl, I'm just
I
like,
don't
hey,
either.
what's up?
This
Cool. That's
this is real talk vocal fry.
just real talk vocal fry. Oh my
Oh,
God.
but
So much
no, I
vocal
mean,
fry.
I kid you not, this is not something that is a trying to do or anything. It is
No,
purely,
we're neither of us are trying to sound in any type of way. That's just our voice. I know for me, it's because my opinion of how I think I sound the way I sound is because I don't talk a lot. I don't like to talk. I avoid talking. So maybe it's just the fact that my voice doesn't get the exercise and all that kind of stuff. So when I do talk, I'm always kind of just like, eh. Sometimes like I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you
Oh
don't really
no, yeah.
know. Like,
You think this is bad? You could, and going off of that, you should have heard me back when we were living in the Panhandle. Literally, there would be days that I wouldn't talk to anybody until my husband called me
oh my God.
in the evening. I kid you not.
That sounds like my ideal day.
It was decent, but it also got like tiring because
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're not even gonna
Besides
go
talking
into
to your
that.
cat.
Yeah. I mean, that's all yeah. So I think it is just a mixture of, again, once we try, like, I get to a certain point in just talking, if I've been talking a lot, it comes out a lot more.
Right.
And
Exactly. When your voice is just kind of overused for the day or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. And like I said, you think this is bad, that you should have
Yeah.
heard me when I was doing the concerts. That was a bad vocal fry.
That, I mean, yeah, it does mess you up. I mean, I know you said that even after like the convention, sometimes it like wears you out with that.
Oh yeah, especially because I mean, depending on if you're where you're at, if you're in the panels or if you're even just with waiting in lines, and when people come out, like they
Mm.
want to feel that energy. And half the time, most of these people are super, if you're not in the panel, if you're just in line, half the time most people are just dreary, not energetic. And I'm one that usually I try to get that energy, because no offense, I want to get up to somebody that I've stood in line waiting for a while and then be not have any energy because nobody's giving them energy.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
very true. Yeah.
it's a play.
Mhm.
And so
That's a good point. Well, we love all of our listeners, even if
we
they
do.
give us less than 5 stars. It's okay. We still love you. Thank you for listening to us. And we hope that
Huh.
our vocal fry is not too much that you won't listen to us again, because not that I'm going
It
to try
ain't
to
go
talk in a baby voice or anything, but
I mean,
I think you would
we
hate
could
that more. You would hate
we
that more,
could
guys.
try the next episode to
Like talk
no.
like some other way. Like, okay, let's like
No.
do that, April. Like, you know how much we love like talking like
like
this.
I can only do
Oh.
that for a certain amount of
Oh my God, I'm
time,
already tired of doing that.
and then you get the exact opposite.
Oh.
I mean, there's enough of, and I mean, here's the thing. It's, again, it's not an intentional thing. And number one, most of the time, in case you guys didn't know, most of the time our recordings we do later in the evenings just because of our schedules. And so it's not
usually past April's bedtime.
half the time, yes, it is. Because I have an alarm clock that wakes me up every morning at 4:30, whether it's meowing in my face or standing on my chest, making it where I can't breathe. And so yeah, sometimes it's just that. I mean, now curious to go back through and see at like what points it starts to get worse. Because to me, there are certain words that I say that I can hear it in myself. But again, if I'm really trying to, but here's the thing, this podcast, we're not trying to be anything we're not. This is,
and you like us or you won't. I mean, that's fine.
You know what? This is a nostalgic podcast that is, we're doing this for the hell of it. Like, we're doing it because we're interested in it. We enjoy these things. We're broadening each other's minds on things that we've never seen before, like ninja movies.
So much stuff.
But it's more just being real. And sorry, if you like the vocal fry, or if you don't, it ain't going away. But again, we do enjoy it. We do appreciate our listeners, and yeah, even if you have some things to say,
let us know.
let us know. We're good with that.
We're good
That's
with we
not an
want
issue.
feedback. I mean, we're still
Yeah.
freaking figuring all this shit out. I mean, we're only just like a year
year
into
old.
this. Yeah, we're
A
still
year old.
babies. Like
We're still little babies.
little babies.
The babies. We're still stuck in 93.
Oh God. We promise, guys, we're almost done. Like 93, we are almost done.
We are.
That's why we kind of wanted to break up the Halloween October months, because it's not really 93 focused at all.
Well, I mean, our first two actually just happened
No,
to be.
shit, you're right. Never mind. Forget I said that, guys.
This one isn't, because
This
none of
one
these were
isn't.
out in 93. So, I mean, they were out, but that wasn't their release year.
Yeah.
Anyways, we hope you enjoy.
And we hope
this week's episode of Vocal Fry.
Vocal Fry. Fry.
Fry.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Get lots of candy, and maybe
make sure you check it.
Definitely check that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know if you get any pox.
All right, until next time.
Bye.
Bye.